Turkeys and Turtles, my name's Imogen, and in today's video I'm going to be explaining how I balance a summer internship with a job and travel. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to hit the button, give me a thumbs up, follow me on Instagram, and let's get into the video. Alright, so this summer I have held an internship position. I also had a job separate to that, and I travelled to Italy and Scotland. So I am a busy gal, basically, and I had a few tips as to how to do this, because a lot of people ask me like, what? How did you do that? Because obviously, usually when someone has a summer, they're either going to work or they're going to have an internship. If you're lucky, you might have a paid internship, and I think all internships should be paid, but you know, some of them aren't. So my first step was to plan ahead. Like, I always knew, like, from over a year ago that I wanted to do an internship this summer, and I also knew that I wanted to have some kind of income that I earned myself, and I had holidays planned to Italy for a while and then Scotland a few months ago. So that was a lot to juggle, but I had travel planned way in advance. So for example, I could set expectations when I was interviewing. Like for my job, I said, look, I need time off on these days, are you okay with that? And they hired me in full knowledge that I wouldn't be there on those particular days. So I think that information helps to have, so plan ahead. Related to that, set very clear goals about what you want from your internship and job. So I had very particular ideas about how much I wanted to earn, what experience I wanted to gain, what I wanted to do in each of those roles, and I could look for stuff that fit those roles. So that was really helpful for me. Okay, my third tip, one of my favourites actually, is to use setbacks wisely. So it might look like I have all my shit together, but I promise you I do not, because at the start of the summer it was a mess. I essentially had an internship lined up that then ghosted me. Like, I was emailing them like, oh, when do I start? Can we get this admin thing sorted out? And there was no response. Fortunately, I had a plan B internship, which was all online, so that was useful, but if I hadn't had that plan B, I would have been, like, screwed, basically. Also, when I first started looking for a job, usually it takes me like 2 weeks. This time it took me 2 months and 300 applications because of the state of the job market. And obviously, like, you know, I was looking for a different kind of job to what I've looked for before, because this one I was looking for to be remote, but even so, like, it took a long time, and so I was unemployed for several months, and during those months I did a lot of my online internships, so that was really useful because A, I had something to fill my days and stop me being depressed about not being a contributing member of society, and B, I had a lot of my internship done by the time I started my job, so that was useful from a scheduling point of view, although there was still some overlap. Alright, time management, let's talk about this. Everybody talks about this, it's like time management this, time management that, but I promise you it's so important. So allocate specific hours for your internship. Like, I had, like, in a week I'd say I'm doing it in these times, and then I would do it in those times. Obviously you have to stick to it. And also I had like an amount of time in mind, so the internship, it was like, they said complete this within 4 months, so I had it in mind, oh, I've got to do it by September. Also, I used weekends to do my internship tasks occasionally. Have a rest as well, but don't write off your weekends. Okay, the next tip is the one that really, like, it brought it all together for me, because if I hadn't done this, then I wouldn't have been able to do this at all. Like, this entire thing would have collapsed if I hadn't had remote work. So both my internship and my job were remote, and that really, like, it saved me a lot of time and money on commuting, and it just meant that I was a lot more efficient, and I could use, like, you know, I was still working long hours, but nevertheless it was much more doable. And obviously if I was commuting to a job, there's no way I could do an internship, and if I was commuting to an internship, there's no way I could do a job, which is why most people pick one or the other. But I will say that remote work is, like, outstanding, and it also meant that I could do, like, little bits and pieces while I was on holiday, although, as I said, my priority was mostly to relax. So also, I want a remote job after uni, so this was valuable experience to prove that I can be a productive and contributing member of a company even while working remotely. So I highly, highly recommend getting a remote job and or internship if you can, because it just, honestly, it makes you way, way, way more productive, and it's just beneficial all round, as long as you don't mind sitting at home for a long time, which was basically a lot of my summer. Stay organised. You have to be organised. Like, keep separate folders for things, keep yourself a schedule, keep yourself a timetable, set yourself a reminders list, because if you do not, I promise you, you'll mix stuff up, it'll be confusing, you will panic, all sorts of things will happen, bad things. So don't do that. Be organised, keep separate folders, keep separate schedules. I cannot emphasise this enough. Be organised. Okay. Self-care and rest. I think an important aspect to this is obviously most of this video has just been work. And primarily, like, the summer is supposed to be for rest, because if you're a university student, or any kind of student at all, really, you will probably have worked very hard during term time. I go to Durham, and they work us pretty hard during term time, and I was quite burned out at the end of my second year. Obviously, going into third year, you're going to be working even harder, and you've got your dissertation to write, I've got my dissertation to write. So I knew it was really important that I take some time off, and I did when I went to Italy, when I went to Scotland. I just, like, you know, I sat by the seaside and thought about my life, and, you know, I went in the pool and sunbathed and spent too much time being hungover. But anyway, that's another story. The point is, balance is really essential. If you want to work hard, you must also play hard. Okay, be adaptable. So I had to be extremely flexible this summer, a lot of setbacks, and when I was ghosted by my first internship, I could have just given up and been like, well, this ain't happening. But fortunately, I was adaptable, and I persevered through the ghosting of my first internship and through 299 job application rejections. And that is how you get to a successful internship and a successful job at the same time in the same summer. Also, my final tip, remind yourself what you're doing this for, because in the job hunt and the internship hunt, and when you're doing the job and the actual internship, like, things can get busy, you can get tired, you can get overworked, and you have to remind yourself why you're doing this. So I found it helped me. I made a LinkedIn and it sort of listed out all my achievements, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And just remind yourself what your goals, what your end goal is, because sometimes it can feel like there is no end in sight. And I've genuinely felt like that sometimes, especially with my internship. I was like, this is never going to end. But it did, and I'm really proud of what I achieved. And I did really enjoy doing it, despite all that. So a lot of career and financial and academic goals have been served by my efforts this summer, so I'm quite proud of that. Remind yourself of your ultimate end goals and how far you've come when you get demotivated, and celebrate your achievements. Like, I really celebrated when I finished my internship, and I celebrated getting a job. So allow yourself to be happy for yourself in those moments, because that's really essential to making this work long term and to having a productive summer. So that's all I've got for you in this video. If you liked it, make sure to give me a thumbs up. Any more questions, drop them in the comments, because I would love to hear from you. And yeah, follow me on Instagram. I think that's all I've got to say. I'll see you guys in the next video. Alright, bye!